figure fight club. We're repping the crew, battle on the floor. It's me and you, pose them up right. Let the showdown begin. In this action figure world, we're destined to win. Got my action force, they ready to strike. Transformers roll out, they're ready for the hype. Marvel and DC, heroes in the ring with every epic. Flash in the night, join the figure fight club where legends ignite. Decepticast, the battle's on. Action figures, heroes drawn. Transform and roll out, let's take a stand. In the ring of toys, we'll make our stand. From Megatron to Starscream, they're ready to fight. With every twist and turn, they light up the night. Collectors gather round, it's a sight to behold. With stories of valor and legends retold. Decepticast, the battle's on. Action figures, heroes jam. Transform and roll out, let's take a stand. In the ring of toys, they'll make our stand. So grab your figures, let's make some noise. In the arena of action, we're all just toys. With every epic showdown, we'll cheer and we'll shout. In the Decepticast, there's no room for doubt. Decepticast, the battle's on. Action figures, heroes drawn. Transforming all out, let's take a stand.
What up, everybody? You know what? There's nothing like a Monday night where I'm rushing to get home, hurrying up, shoveling food down my throat to get ready for this show. We got a special show for you tonight. But first off, I'd like to welcome my co-host, Anna. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. Good evening.
How are you feeling? I know you've been getting kicked in the butt with this sickness. You sound a lot better.
I'm significantly more functional. I can sound normal for upwards of 15 to 20 minutes at a time. So it's been very helpful for my job.
I'm good because my back has been getting sore for carrying the workload the last couple of weeks.
Oh, I know. It's been so hard on you. I know.
You would think some introverts wouldn't have issues or would have issues talking on camera in front of everybody, but no, sometimes we just don't shut up.
It goes a little differently. It goes a little differently when you're on camera and you feel like you're socializing without having to do all the hard parts of socializing, which is reacting to other people.
Yep. So I want to say hi to some of the folks in the chat tonight. We got Zaldron, Stew for Lunch, Toyamic Displays. I'm still trying to get him to buy third-party Transformers. He's slowly getting in. Jedi Ben, Initial Goose, Minhoza. Thank you guys for hopping in. And Figure Fight Club's here.
Surprise.
So it's not just us tonight, Anna.
It's not just us.
We have a guest.
We brought a friend of me.
Yeah, so last night in book club, I was kind of discussing a little bit like tonight's show before you hopped in. And I was talking to Catherine. I'm like, yeah, Collecticon's going to hop on the show tonight and talk about a site. And she was like, oh, you guys are really going to be shilling tonight, aren't you? I'm like, no, he's going to talk about his website, The Collecticon. It's not, well, we might shill a little bit for Collecticon because he does sponsor one of our segments, but I like to include Collecticon to the chat. I don't know if we can go by his real name or not. We'll let him tell us.
Yeah, my real name is Satan. So,
whoa.
You know, I'm all about the shills.
Oh, okay. Well, I can address you as Satan for the rest of the show. That's fine.
Yeah, we're thanks. Yeah, I do. You know, I've been helping sponsor you guys for a while, you know, just with the code and stuff. That's been really great for me. I hope it's been great for you guys. So, you know, love it when people check out the site. But I do want to talk about a different site tonight.
Right. So we'll get everybody teased in it, and then we got some slides. We'll move through some of the slides. There was some news this week. Not as much news as we normally get, but so, you know, not to to shill, but we always start off with official Transformer news, and it's brought to you by Collecticon.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Yeah. Yo, not right, man.
We now return to the Transformers.
So head to Collecticon Toys, use FFC 10, and you can get 10% off your entire order. Now, moving on. So first thing that I pulled, we got teased this at, was it Wonderfest? And then last week, Flame Toys released an image. Now pre-orders are up. This is their Galva Convoy.
Very deep cut there.
I think I gotta get this. I saw this today and I almost didn't believe it.
I didn't get any of the previous releases, and the fact that they added a soft goods cloak in this with wired kind of makes it a little epic. And now we have purple.
Well, this is pretty. This is a Karakuri or whatever they call it. This is the expensive line, right? From Flame Toys.
I think it's still the model kit, so it's at that. It's not cheap. It's that $80 price point, but it's still a model kit.
Oh well, I'll definitely get it if it's that. I thought this was the super high end stuff because, for people that don't know, Galva Leo, whatever you want to call him, he's a lucky draw toy. That's the only thing. He never existed in fiction or anything. He's purely like a elitist like treasure get. And so it's so cool to see this deco in a accessible, figure, which I mean, they did one for BotCon, but this looks just incredible.
Yeah. And what do you think, Anna, knowing how difficult these kits are to put together? What are your thoughts on grabbing it?
I think it's pretty. I think that it looks nice. I think you guys will enjoy having it in your collection after you build it. I think you will hate yourselves for having bought it as you build it throughout the entire process. And then when you're done and you don't touch it, because if you touch it, parts will fall off. When you're done and you don't touch it anymore, you'll love it. You'll put it behind glass. I bet you'll put it behind glass because that's the place these Flame Toys kids need to go. Not impressed by Flame Toys. I'm so sorry. They're really big, cool figures, look neat. Their kits look cool when they're built, but they are a pain.
So, Anna, Flame Toys doesn't impress you. What about RoboSun Light?
That is one of the more impressive things I've seen in my entire life. I want you to know that I have pre-orders in for 10 of these. And just cover my house.
I saw this on the shelf at Walmart today, and I was like, for real? Like, they're doing this again?
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny. It's like car mode is the live action stuff, and then the Bumblebee head is like Cyberverse or Cyberworld. Like one of the kid lines. So it's like a little bit of both.
If this was under your Christmas tree this year, would you not play with it and drive it all around your house? I sure would.
Yeah, I would probably play with it as long as I would play with the RoboSun.
That's probably the best point anyone's ever made about RoboSun. You would probably enjoy a simplistic RC car as long as you would enjoy RoboSun.
Yep. So next up, Blockies wheels. This is they kind of went into detail of some of their stuff. And Paul, didn't I see an image from you where you have some of those in stock now?
No, that was just. I posted that in the Discord, but it wasn't my photo. Okay. I just was like, "Oh, there's the box," because that's what I always care about when these things are revealed for the first time. Is like, what does the box look like? Because they don't show you until it's like out in the wild.
Right. Now I did see a video where somebody did put some of these together, and they did the little tap on the shell of Hound, and it made that ting sound. So, diecast.
Oh, really? Okay.
Wow.
That's confirmed.
If that's true, these are a great deal then, because they're I think they're cheaper than a regular like Galaxy Blocky.
They got to be cheaper because I think size, form factor, parts count, I think they're more similar to the Defender than they are to the Galaxy. So taking this as like a baseline of complexity, then adding the die cast still hopefully isn't as much as Galaxy costs.
Yeah.
Do come in 12 packs though.
And like it was in its own separate little like poly bag, like clear plastic bag. I'm assuming to protect from any paint chipping.
Oh.
Let's see.
I'm really interested to see these, to get these in hand and see what the truth is about them. They might be like a very big, like a quality surprise instead of like a bummer. Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and one of the cool things they tout here is the standard connectors. So you can mix and match things as long as it can fit within the shells that you're putting them in.
That is cool. Now, if anyone doesn't want their pilots when they start getting them, please send all your pilots to me because I love little tiny people to stick in my Transformers.
Yeah,
Very excited.
Kind of lends into initial Goose's question. So they are including figures. From what I've read, it's only the race cars that get the figures. So you have Drag Strip and Mirage. I don't like that was through translation, so it could be incorrect.
I was under the impression, and I don't know because no one's explained this yet, but like they added this image with the driver like separate from the pictures of the product line. So I was worried that this was like an extra, like kind of like the Sharkticon container, like it's a giveaway or something. I don't know. Because Aldron's right. My first blaster is worth buying a pack to begin with, just to get an accessory.
Especially if it fits in like a deluxe figure's hand from.
Oh, it might.
And then what are these 2.5 centimeters? How close is that compared to Diaclone drivers?
Very close. You're very close. Or just a little bit shorter than Diaclone drivers. So there might be cross compatibility. I'm not going to say for sure until I get it in hand, but I'm going to try. And if they are cross compatible, it's going to be so much fun.
Yep. So and these were some in-hand images I found off the Chinese message boards.
Yeah, I was right. They're about 3 inches long because the Diapilot is 0.99 inches. Diapilot, it's not a Diapilot, it's the hologram guy. So they're about 3 inches long for most of them. Some of them are a little bit longer, but they're bigger than Hot Wheels.
Yep.
But not by a lot.
And something that hopefully is inevitably coming to us, but there's not been any information. Have you seen anything, Paul, on how to attain this?
No, but it seems like these Asia exclusives are finding their way to America these days in one way or another.
Yep. Just
those hyper limited like convention exclusives, those still seem locked in Asia. But this might be, a retailer incentive or something.
I mean, we didn't think with the way licensing was with Devastator, it was coming over. I got mine early.
You did. You stole it from me.
Over. Yep. Okay, so I didn't notice that. Initial Goose said I read a translation that the little figure scale was some actual Transformers.
Yeah, if they are in fact about the same size as an original Diaclone pilot, not Diaclone Reboot, because Diaclone Reboot does not fit in Missing Link. If they're about the same size as an original Diaclone pilot, they will fit in the Missing Link figures, which will be really neat if we can do that. If we could put the little hologram people in the Missing Link stuff. So excited for that possibility.
And then another kind of disturbing, how are we going to get this one? A Nemesis version of Optimus. Or Nemesis Prime.
I don't know. It just drives before the stuff's even out. There's all this like DLC,
Yeah.
I just hope it all comes over somehow. It'd be great. Otherwise, it's a real pain.
Yeah, and then some more blocky reveals this week. Now, was this CTE where we first saw these gray models of the Dark of the Moon, Bumblebee, and Megatron? Megatron showed up to. I think images showed up last night. It was after I was finished with the slideshow, so I didn't add it to this. But so this is one of the new Classic Class designs, and it's really weird. Classic Class has been primarily live action or just theater movies. It hasn't really been anything other than that. So I wonder if that's the goal with just Classic Class in general.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems strange that they separate the character pool so like rigidly across the size classes. There might be some licensing problem, like
Yeah, possibly.
kind of like the Devastator. Like the movie stuff's always been tricky with Hasbro. Do they owe Paramount money whenever they make a toy, and that's why they like don't do certain things? I don't know. But this looks pretty cool.
Anna, as the Bumblebee collector, will you be adding this Classic Class Bumblebee to your
No,
collection?
I don't collect this dumb guy. I collect this guy. This is my friend. That guy's stupid. I don't like him. He's got a bug face. He pees on people. That's not cool.
HGC, we will get to that. All right, so next up, how are you guys on these weird G2 colors?
So mad because I was not getting the G2. I was not going to collect a second set of these giant Dinobots. And then that glorious orange. It's just so bad. It just conflicts with that blue so terribly. It's like a style no-no in dinosaur form, and I have to have it. So I don't know what I'm going to do about the rest of them. Do I have to get them all now? Can I just stick with these two? We'll see what happens.
This goes perfect with your yellow and teal Grimlock, right?
It's beautiful. It's going to go with everything.
Yeah. Zaldron is calling you out.
They do look like Anna toys, and they will be.
Here's a little bit closer images of them.
You gotta have your traffic cone sludge.
It's so good. It's so good. He's so orange.
Now it doesn't say. It doesn't say on the box, but they've changed the Gen Selects packaging. Is this going to be like classified as a Gen Selects or like a Famazon type release?
It's a Gen Selects thing, yeah, for sure. It's just the Gen Selects things always are like within one of the main toy lines,
right?
Which this kind of goes into. We could bring this up later, but like all the Gen Selects are either they were whatever toy line is out when they are released is what they're under.
Right. Okay. So next up, we had some reissues this week.
I'll be back.
Guess who's back?
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
You gotta put your back into it, dumbass.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
So if you guys went to Walmart this week, some people have, and they're finding stuff, I think, behind the scenes right now. I haven't seen these yet. But if you guys remember, was it 2 years ago around Christmas, around this time, Walmart was just getting these randomized. Well, they weren't randomized. They had common characters in each 2-pack, but they were like second-party cellophaned 2-packs of deluxes. And we are getting more this year.
We're even getting some of the ones from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
According
Crazy
to that
enough.
image.
Yep.
And then some of it is like there isn't rhyme or reason. Like one of them has 86 Bumblebee with Devastation Optimus Prime, and then another one has 86 Bumblebee with Reactivate Bumblebee.
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, some of these are great. That like the Hot Shot and the G1 Prime. That's a good combo.
It is.
Really, these are just the toys that like were clogging up the warehouses. You know, that's all.
And it's crazy that Cosmos was clogging up the warehouse when that thing was going triple, quadruple when it was Velocitron Cosmos.
Well, but this is a different release of it. And if you notice, they're like certain waves, like repackaged. Because like Cosmos and Wheeljack and the G2 Breakdown and the Origin B, that was all like the final wave of Legacy United that really didn't show up at retail too much. So this doesn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah.
Although I would like to get the knockout again. I want more knockouts. So I'm going to be looking for that grouping.
You looking for a couple of these?
I don't know. I'll just see like what's.
It's fun.
You know what I want the most? I want the yellow container that they're in. That's what I really want.
I'm curious how low these will get because that's a lot of figures right there. And if you guys remember when these went out originally, like they cut them in half quick, like the price.
That's right. Like they were before Christmas even came. Some of them were on clearance. It was the Wild West. So I expect that's going to happen again. And anyone that remembers that is going to wait on these. So I don't know. It's going to be wild.
Then next up, what was spotted at Walmart. So it's kind of difficult to see in the middle of all this, but the Studio Series number 32 Optimus Prime, they're finding those on the special displays at Walmart. Out of nowhere. I mean, kind of like how the Run Amok, they didn't let us know about. And then, what is that? The number 87 Bumblebee, another reissue.
However, the Run Amok is only $20. So... And at some stores, people have said it's $5. You know, like it's in clearance again. So worth checking out.
Yep,
really is.
Now, probably the two biggest reissues this week or last week, Nemesis, and I mean, there's an image why because when I took that screenshot, last one sold for $450. Some of them were going higher than that.
I feel bad because there was a guy at TFCon that bought mine for a lot of money, and here we are. And I'm just like, sorry, but it was my last one. So,
well, we kind of did a show a few weeks ago about reissues, and I'm seeing them everywhere, like across Hasbro lines. Even like import figures are doing a butt ton of reissues. I don't know if this is like a cost-saving thing that the manufacturers are doing, and then everybody's following suit.
Maybe it could be like a tariff reaction, but I don't feel like this is it. At least with Transformers specifically, I feel like this is just kind of normal these days. Like, 2 years after the toys come out and people still want it. Well, we still have access to the mold. Let's run 10 to 20,000 of them, or I have no idea how many they do, but that's my guess.
Yeah. Anna, did you play the waiting game on her, or did you get her on that one sale on this real random site? Because didn't that happen?
Yeah, I got her when she first came out, and it was a gift, so it was all fine.
Okay.
Not for $450. Don't worry.
Right. So what do you guys think about now we know what the actual Titan price is, with this being what, $239?
That's a great question. Do we know what the actual Titan price is? Because when I try to tell some of my friends that this one is $240 on most sites, because it actually is, I get told, oh no, it was $210 on Hasbro Pulse. It just sold out. That's the real price. People are really up in arms over what the real price of Titans would be in the current world. I think $240 is probably closer, because most sites you'll find this for $240, and you'll find the other one, the Predacene, for $230 to $240.
Well, another thing you have to realize with Pulse, it's a garbage site. They put stuff up all the time that the price doesn't match, and then an hour to half hour later, they adjust the price to match all the other e-tailers.
They probably made a mistake. They probably went off the old price or something. What really matters is what the wholesale price is, at this point. And I think it has Repulse. There's a little bit of left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing because it's so. It seems like they should know more, but it makes sense that they wouldn't because they are less. They have less skin in the game, let's say, because they're so close to the source. 240 sounds right to me. I'm not sure what it should be. I mean, this is a whole nother discussion that Anna and I have been having, but there are no real prices right now. Everything is bonkers because I know the Voyager is supposed to be $42. They're $44 at most stores I go to. Yeah. And I'm like, what? What happened? This is crazy. So we're in a little bit of it's just a Wild West time. There's too much chaos out in the world, and the dust has not settled yet. And I don't think it's gonna. So just buckle up.
Not for a while. I think that this whole Titans being 210 to 240, depending on how you want to say it, I think they're 240. I think this is why Titans ended. I think they just couldn't put them out for a price that they actually believed was going to sell at this point. And I think some of these reissues might be, a combination of working with what they currently have and also testing the waters. If Nemesis sells well for that 240 on these, e-tellers, then maybe we could have another Titan in the future.
Yeah, but I feel like that's faulty. It's a faulty test case because they underproduced this. That's the problem. And that's why everyone is willing to pay $500 for it because they made a third of what they made of the Ark because the Ark they overproduced. So it's they're always reacting. They're swinging all the way to the other side and then they're reacting. So if they're oh, look, the Nemesis sold really well. Let's do big ass Titans again. They come out with a new one. It'll probably flop. And part of this price increase probably has to do with pulling back some of the free shipping that a lot of the places do because these are expensive to ship. And sometimes the only way they can sell it is by covering the shipping. And they might be well, we're gonna not do that so much anymore.
And TD3 Trooper, that's what it's going for on secondary market. It's up for pre-order right now for $240. So the other thing, with this price too, what's that going to tell us for HasLabs? How's that going to? If this is what we're would be paying for a Titan class, what is our HasLab class going to be? Are we going to get to those Unicron prices?
I think it's likely that someday in the future we'll look back on Unicron and say, wow, that was a bargain. Yeah. And that's when we'll know we've gone too far.
Already doing that, but sure.
And speaking of Titan-like prices, your deluxe class breakdown was going for $225. Now you can get them for a measly $27.99.
Yeah, all that means is Motormaster is now $300. So you're just pushing the scale in a different way. So sure.
Well, so will we get a rerun of Motormaster and then part of that tooling will go to the G2 Motormaster?
Well, we already did get a rerun of Motormaster. Yeah. So they can always do another one. But the G2 one's gotta be coming. Just we haven't heard anything about it in forever. So, at some point.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. Finally, I'm sure.
And then Wild Rider, that's the other one we're missing, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need to complete your Minosaur and tired of looking at that G2 breakdown on your Minosaur, Hasbro's got your back. Speaking of Hasbro having your back, now I pulled these images. So these are from Nate Purswell's Instagram page. And part of the reason why I pulled these is he's discussing reissues on his post, not like what this guy's wish list was, but how he answered the guy, letting them know that. So they're paying attention. They have lists of what figures are in high demand or what the fans are saying in high demand. And in the past, they've even said, "Hey, let us know what figures you guys want reissued, and we'll work on it." And what we've seen with Nemesis and Breakdown, definitely Breakdown, because I know a lot of people were screaming for that.
You posted this in the Discord, and it made me laugh a little bit. But the one thing I want to say about this is, have any of you guys ever worked in radio? No. So there's something I learned about radio one time. Like, you could send in requests, and they would like put you on. Like if you called in, like play Maroon 5, and they would like sometimes record you and put you on the radio, and they'd be like, "Here it is." Like what they would do is wait, they already got a set list of songs, but when someone calls in and the next song is the one they're asking for, they're like, "Oh yeah, let's put that on the radio." That's kind of what I get from this. They already have their reissues lined up.
Yeah,
like they know, but what they're asking for. They're just kind of like testing the waters. Like I don't think they're gonna make it. If they're gonna release Runabout, they're already planning to do it, not because this guy said so. But
right.
it like validates their decision though. Like, it helps them kind of know they made a good idea, or like way down the line when they have a list, they can refer to it. But it's not going to like happen next week because they got a bunch of requests. Sorry to break the fourth wall there, but that's how I see it. I don't know.
Killing our dreams. Darth Barf. Oh man, say that one fast. We actually kind of did a show on it a few weeks back talking about made to order and like what would work for Transformers. I would suggest to go listen to that, but I kind of had a little bit of a list of things. I think it's really weird with this Titan price point the way it is now, because in the way made to order price points are, it's yeah. I could see them doing it. The projects would be difficult to pick.
I'm all for made to order, as long as they don't do a ton of them. If it's like, once a year or something like that, that would be.
Yeah, Marvel's doing
like HasLab Light, so I'd be into it.
Yeah. So next up, we have third-party news. It really wasn't a whole lot of third-party news this week. First off is a pre-order went up on Show Z for a repaint of the Metagate Pterosaur. Yeah, Pterosaur. What version is this? Because I'm not familiar. Is this like Beast Wars Neo or something like that? You guys know?
Is it maybe from that, like, I know there was a blue pterosaur in the Age of Extinction line, but I think they called it Swoop.
Okay. See, I knew Zaldron would know. I just was
yeah.
throwing that softball up for him. Next up, let's see. So X-Transbot showed off their last throttle, no, not throttle, whatever. It's camshaft. So here's packaging images of that. Like I said, not a whole lot. I mean, if you're completing your MP versions of these. Sorry, I'm looking for something. So next up, little bit of Dr. Woo. This is really, really small news. So they had extra of their little slug Decepticons, and they're going to start throwing them in other figures. So and then till supplies last. So it was kind of a cool little thing.
It honestly makes you want to buy more Dr. Wu just to get little Jolly Rancher cassettes.
Yeah, I could have done the clear video too, but I didn't want to just overwhelm Anna's
sensibilities. The word is
right,
sensibilities.
Yeah. I just didn't want her to
them.
sign off because of my nonsense. But
Bye.
so next up, so this is kind of leading into something that Anna brought up last night, and what we're going to bring up a little bit tonight. So these are being found at Walmart right now. These are $5 classic class, which is outrageous because they were originally $10, which was already below the asking price for those. Now at half price of that.
Yeah.
And since we rarely talk about blockies, you might not know what classic class is, but they're full-on model kits, right? Like they're like 90-piece, relatively easy model kits to do. So they're like not quite to your high-grade Gundam level, but they're still a little project you can do while you're doing something else, watching TV, playing Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe that's where I did my first one of these. That's where I'll do the rest of them.
So Anna, when you see prices like this, does that make you possibly get in trouble?
It does all the time. So it is sale season, and being that we're coming up on Black Friday and then we're going to go up through the holidays, stores like to put their old stock on sale, right? Those are not the newest classic class blockies. You have already made the decision not to buy those. I already made the decision not to buy those. I don't buy movie toys. Guess what though? They all live with me now, right? Because they were $5, right? Yep. So I'm proposing a little segment for the rest of the holiday season called Cautionary Tales of Sales, where we talk about mistakes we make when the sales happen. Now, we talked on book club last night about how all my friends apparently never make impulse buys and never ever have buyer's remorse, which is just so true, I'm so sure. But I'm going to be honest with you, these sales get me. You know, like I said, I didn't think I wanted those blockies, but, well, I enjoy a good model kit, so why not? One figure I said that I would never buy, and it's not that I regret owning it, it's that it made me into a hypocrite, is this fella.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. You know, with the Star Convoy. What's going on with this, right? Well, what's going on with this is cells, right? Sacked enough cells that this thing costs about as much as I think it's worth, which seems great and all. And here's the thing, like, we haven't even really got into the bad stuff yet, because later I'm probably going to buy something I don't even like. I actually really like this thing. It's really fun. I'm really glad I have it. I think it's really cool and really playable and a fun way of having something that's, you know, even bigger than a commander. Right? Look at little tiny Jetfire next to this guy. Pretty cool. I like it a lot. But I said I would never buy it. And you know what else? I constantly complain about running out of space. I don't have enough space. I don't have enough shelf space. Where am I going to put my toys, guys? I got this.
And you have the far superior Star Convoy. Why would you even want to add that to your collection?
You know, because it was
That's right.
Such a good. I know. I do.
You just popped out like Oscar the Grouch. Where was you at, Paul?
It's in the trash.
You're in the trash can real fast. I actually even considered a side-by-side, but I was like, I don't want to take it out of the box. It makes me nervous. So I didn't take it out of the box for this comparison. Well, that I'm not doing. And that's the thing that I wanted to make my point very clear here, that I said I would never get it, right? When it came out, I made fun of it for being weird, being an odd price point, and coming with this absolute pile of poop, this little hot rod. Yeah, it's Micromaster hot rod. It's not in its robot mode right now. If it was, it's really hard to transform, so let me see if I can handle this. Oof, I don't know. Getting pretty nervous transforming on camera.
So is there a price point?
Oh, wait, I'm done.
Wow. Yeah, that was quick. Now,
Look how terrible this is. It's so
is there a price point? Is there a price point for that where you wouldn't feel as bad?
So that's the thing. I hit that price point, and that's why it lives with me, right? And I didn't pay very much for it, very much at all. I think the actual value of this figure is more in the $100 range than it is in the actual retail price range, but that's a story for another day, I suppose. My point is that I didn't need it. My shelves don't need it. Did I really need this guy in my collection? No. He lives with me now because of cells. There are a lot of things in my collection that live with me because they went on sale for a really good price. In fact, just right here in arm's reach, the only reason I own this hot rod, really cheap.
Is that the
Right, got
magenta
really
one?
cheap
The
on
pinkish
clearance.
one? Or
That's
is
the magenta G1 hot rod from Walmart in the 40th cartoon colors, right? Didn't need this, didn't want it. Sure did like it for whatever I paid for it, which was probably like $5-10. That was it. Right, here it is. It's with me now. So that's the cautionary tales of cells. What I would really like to hear is if anyone who watches us would like to reach out to Caleb or I over the weeks and share a story. Share a story of something you bought on sale in Transformers. If it's this year, that's great. If it's in the past, that's also great. That you have buyer's remorse for, and the only reason you got it is because it was a great price, right? Because I have so many I could share. I could fill this segment myself, but I really want to hear other voices. Maybe we'll invite some friends on to share as well over the holiday season.
I was trying to think last night if there was, because I'm usually pretty good that I buy stuff that I want. And Christmas time, it's always weird because I'm not worrying about what I want to get for me. I'm worried about what I want to get for my kids.
You're so good.
I know. Well, when you're doing it wrong the first 11 months, you got to make up for it in the 12th month.
True.
So do you have anything else on the way, Anna, that you may or may not regret or we don't want to show a preview for next week, right?
No, nothing yet, but I'm sure by the time we get to next week, everybody's going to be doing their Black Friday sales early. In fact, there's another retailer that's doing their Black Friday on the 20th, which is only a few days away. I'm sure I'll buy something stupid.
I should probably get my butt in gear and prepare some Black Friday stuff, shouldn't I? I was just going to kind of skip it. I was going to skip it this year.
It's the time to sell something that you don't want. And that's the thing. That's like the trick with Star Convoys. This will probably be the happiest story because it wasn't actually on sale, right? It was just coupons. It was stacking coupons and stacking discount codes until I got it real cheap. This thing hasn't had to go on sale. It was. It was. There was a little intersection of the various toy coupons, and I had reward dollars, so I only ended up paying like $50 for it. It's stupid, but it made me want it. Did I need it? I don't know.
Well, it's better than overpaying for something you really didn't like, because that happens too.
It is. So share your stories with us. Gosh, I've got so many right here in front of me. I don't even know why, right? Like the only reason I own an X-Transbots figure, right? The only reason I got this X-Transbots blue cliff jumper. Oh gosh, don't show this one because I've actually painted some of it, so it's not very beautiful. But only reason I have this, it was on sale, really cheap. It's like $20, so I got it. Oh. All right, guys. I've embarrassed myself long enough. Go do something else now.
All right, so we kind of teased this in the beginning. So Paul has a site that he does sales on. It's called Collecticon Toys, but he talked about this on the Discord. He shared like a link to all of us. It's called the collecticon.com. And then I watched him on the Forge, which is a Transformers podcast, and he kind of went into it, and it kind of gave me an idea. Well, I would like him to come on our show and kind of do the same thing that he did on there. Not to put you on the spot or
that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to just repeat myself from what I said there, but like I wasn't really expecting to talk about this so soon, so I want to just preface everything that happened, everything that comes out of my mouth after this could be 100% untrue, but it is all good intentioned. I just don't, I'm not trying to put a bunch of fluff out there and hype something up. But since you were so gracious to invite me back on the show to talk about it, and so did the guys at the Forge, which, I was like, whoa, you guys want me to talk about this? Like, I definitely hesitated. Like, I was like, I don't think so. Like, I don't want to, I can't show you anything. So there's nothing to talk about, really, but there's plenty to talk about. And I figure I'll take the opportunity as it was given to me. So I really appreciate it. And I really just want to have a discussion about it. So I will, how about I go into my background a bit and why I'm doing this?
Yeah. Start from the beginning.
Okay, so this has been in the works. Since 2004 is when I first conceived of this with a friend of mine. My first job was at a record label, and I worked with some really talented developers there, and we used to party all the time, and we talked one late night about how we should make this thing, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. And actually my friend came up with the name Collecticon, and I was like, that's the name, that's it, that's perfect, because it fits with, it's like, first off, I like Decepticons, I like the purple thing, and I was like, Collecticons follow me, like, let's do it, like, that's, all these taglines can happen. And so that was, back in 2004. That's before the movie. Like, that's how long this goes back. And I so wish I could have made it then instead of now, because that's like 20 years of product that has ballooned out since that time. And it would have been so much easier to do it in real time instead of having to backtrack and crush 40 years of data into a new thing. But I never got it off the ground with that person, but I've been thinking about it and like mocking it up and doing dissertations on how it should be done and all these things for a long time, cooling off on it, then getting really excited about it again, always being into Transformers since then. And I've always wanted to do this, and the opportunity has just kind of laid itself out to finally make it happen. And gonna go for it, because like Collecticon toys, collecticon.org, those were all just like band-aids on my life to get me to the point that this thing is made. And what it is supposed to be is sort of like see, I don't have this prepared, as you can tell. I ping pong all over the place. So at some point you're gonna have to stop me and ask a question to get me back on track. But I always wanted to know how many of a certain toy, figure, product there is out there. And you'll never know. It's impossible to know. But if we started asking people like, hey, do you have this? Yeah. Okay, well, let's record that. Like, let's keep track of it. Let's tally that up. We could see at least how many people say they have them collected. It doesn't mean that's the end all be all number. Then I was like, how do we figure that out? Oh, well, we got to make some sort of like tally page. I don't know if you remember iScrobbler. Probably not, but it was like before Spotify. It was this plugin you could put on iTunes, and it would record that you listened to this song. And it was the first attempt at a holistic, like, how many plays does this song have other than radio plays? And it was kind of phenomenal. So it was kind of like, how do we make that, like, how many Transformers are there out there? If you can get a critical mass of people like kind of documenting their collections, you can know that. That was where it kind of started from. That was the idea. But obviously there's a lot more you can learn about the fandom at large and the collecting habits of people and the things that are even available to collect if you can compile all that information. And I know people have there are individuals and groups that have attempted to like actualize this same thing over time, but in 20 years, I haven't seen anyone do it right. So I'm coming and I'm going to do it right. And I'm stoked. Like I'm like, I don't sleep anymore because I'm working on this so hard. my wife thinks I've lost it, but she's probably right.
It was just a really long time ago.
Yeah, I know. You're right. So I don't know if that fully explains what the thing is supposed to be, but it's really supposed to be kind of a living taxonomy of our entire. If you can collect it, it would be there. Although that's not even true, because I don't want to, like, there are limits. I don't want to, like, I'm not going to launch with what I call artifacts. Probably not media either, like DVDs or comic books. It's going to focus purely on the physical representation of characters that you could purchase. And as a character collector, I have certain like angles on this, you know, like features that I want to include that allow you to like do that type of. I think that type of collecting it's a niche amongst the whole collecting thing, but it like kind of helps you navigate other ways of collecting. Like if you want to make if you want all the IDW versions of a character, I'm going to make it easy for you to see the holes and what is available to you to do such a thing if you want. Oh, you're muted, bro.
You're muted, Caleb.
Jeez. So I was taking a drink of water. I muted. That's why I was muted. But anyway, so it's almost like you're building a database that, or the users will be kind of helping create the database and the information, right?
Yeah, I can't do it all myself. You know, like it is going to have to be like a collective effort, but the sort of like, it's like I'm going to build the Plinko machine that people get to put their balls in and have them drop in the holes that they want them in. Which that is not even an accurate, you know, analogy because that's random. But
So
I just think there's so much out there that people don't even know is there. I see it every day because I'm subscribed to like even just today. I don't have my phone. I was gonna verbatim read this post I saw like 2 hours ago. Someone's like, hey guys, is there like a checklist of all the Studio Series 86 toys? None of the other ones, just the Studio Series 86 toys. And every time I see that, I just snicker to myself. Because I'm like, no, there's not. And then everyone's like, well, here's my spreadsheet. Here's a screenshot of my spreadsheet, like posting it in the chat thread. I'm like, what? Why? Why are you even doing that? That's going to get lost. This whole thread is going to disappear in 5 minutes from existence. So I want to... And that's a problem in our fandom. There is so much great knowledge locked up in like some super experts Facebook post they made in a group that no one's in anymore and isn't seen. But he had like the list of every Ultra Magnus variant that ever existed. And that's gone. Yep. That's gone. Like it needs to be somewhere long tail that you can find it. And so I'm going to try to think.
It's crazy to think that all these 80s toy brands, right? They came with checklists. You know, Transformers toys came with checklists. A lot of other toys came with checklists. And as kids, you would get a hold of one of those checklists and you'd be trying to check off as you got it. And then now we've gotten to the point we don't actually have those checklists. And yeah, this is something that I think will, check the box for a lot of collectors because we kind of do want to know what all's out there. One of our friends shared this video someone had made of, you know, all the RC figures. And, you know, he was like, I bet there'll be ones on there that you don't know, Anna. And I was like, no, probably not. And I did watch it, and there were not any that I did not know, but there are some that I know that were not on the list, right? And my mindset, and my mindset was just like, wouldn't it be nice if there was a place where I could check my list that lives only in my head of all the RC figures?
That's exactly what I'm trying to facilitate for people like you and me. You know, like you can have a personalized experience on this thing. You can like say, I don't want to see KOs. So that doesn't work for you. But like, you can be like, no, I don't want to see KOs when I look for RCs. Okay, fine. Then now your user preferences omit the KOs until you decide to, you know, go to the dark side, which you will at some point. Let's all be honest. I'm talking about all you listening. But like you could also be like, I don't care about variants. I just want the core thing that's supposed to exist. Because you mentioned those checklists, Anna, and those are great, but those are corporately mandated checklists that are not accurate. by any means. That's up to us to fill in the gaps.
Well, didn't one of those have blue streak on it, and then we never got it in the West?
I mean, those kind of mistakes are what keeps the Transformers brand alive. If all that stuff was 100% accurate from day one, we wouldn't be doing this right now. I promise you. Like the myth of blue streak, the myth of G1 Unicron, like those kind of things are what have kept the fire burning. Like when the wind was blowing real hard for Transformers.
Those recolor mini bots that became the Go bots.
Yeah, well, like Bumper or Bumble Jumper if you're super crusty, like that kind of stuff. That was released in the toy line, and like that does not exist. The fact that the red and yellow Cliff Jumper, red and yellow Bumblebee, those are not in any corporately mandated checklists, but they matter to the collectors dictate what matters. And with G1, we've had 40 years to kind of let the dust settle. The dust hasn't settled on everything. There's always still, like, Mavs finds something new, like, every month.
Yeah.
So, I saw a red-footed Jeep, a Hound, the other day. I've never heard of that. And it's a legit thing. Did you guys hear about that? It's like from Turkey or Greece or like Saudi Arabia or something. It's that weird Middle East brand that there's an Optimus Prime that it came boxed in as well. I don't know if you guys even heard of this. Am I speaking?
No, I haven't heard of that. So was it a production run that just did that, or was it just a one variant that got through?
I mean, again, I saw it on Facebook, and so I saved those posts. That doesn't mean they're going to be there when I go back to look at them, but like that blew my mind because it was a real thing. It was kind of like the Redfoot Prime. It's so bizarre because like the Redfoot Prime from Sage or France is a pretty pronounced variant that wasn't supposed to be that way, but they made a whole run of them like that. Apparently, there's this Hound, G1 Hound, that had the same treatment, different company. Like it's kind of random that it's happened twice, but it has.
Yeah.
Anyways, that sort of like discovery or rarity would be. It would have its own, unique product ID and page on this thing because we would treat that as a new product, separate. It'd be not necessarily a variant of G1 Hound because the manufacturer is completely different. It's from a different area of the world, so it's kind of in its own thing.
So I think it was a month or so back you linked the website and the Discord and was asking for people to sign up on the website. Are you still looking for people to sign up, or did you?
Yeah, that was supposed to kind of coincide with TFCon. I was going to kind of try to make a big push and talk to people about it, get them to sign up and have like a video and everything. Just with the lead up to TFCon, it was so crazy that one of 100 things I was trying to get ready for TFCon had to fall back. And so the next week after TFCon, I got the splash page up and I got the URL working on the Collecticon. And there's not much there, but you can sign up for an update. And that is the main purpose. It's kind of to gauge interest in the application as described on the page. So I would implore people to check out the collecticon.com. It's completely separate from the e-commerce website. I was going to put the link in the chat. You can, and there that email goes nowhere except like to a spreadsheet that I'm using. So it's not going to be like you can trust me to not sell it off or some sort of thing. Like it's legitimately what I'm going to go to when I am ready to start opening the door to a very small group of people, because I'm going to trickle it in to individuals, and I'm going to make sure that they're interested in wanting to help me, like start doing user testing. And if you've never done user testing, it's like, hey, here's a website I think works, and it definitely doesn't. So will you please poke holes in it and figure out where it doesn't work so we can go to like V1.02 or something. And like that's how web development works. It's the iterative process. And that's why I'm refusing to show anybody anything at this point. I just kind of want to like talk about it and like invite people to join that list. And I will just probably, it might even be before 2026. I shouldn't say that, but like we're cooking. Like we're doing it. We're actually going way faster than I thought. And we might be able to open it up to actual individuals to check it out before 2026. But the holidays are coming, so like let's just say it's going to be early 2026.
Yeah. So is there like a number of how many like users you want to throw in first in your head?
One. We're going to start with one, and then we might go to two, and then maybe like double, you know, a little bit. Well, the process will kind of dictate it, you know. So like if the first person comes in and it's like a huge disaster, like we'll probably cool it for a little while and iterate before we're ready for user two. But that's not really the fun stuff to talk about. I could show, you know, I had like a kind of a visual aid. We could go into that if you feel like. I could show you a little more of that.
Is that what you was showing on the Forge, that visual aid?
Yeah, it kind of gives a if you're not familiar with software development or product like corporate sort of like project patterns, like this might be really boring. Or maybe if you aren't familiar with it, it isn't boring. But if you, I don't know, we'll check it out and you can be the judge. But it will kind of illustrate some of the things I'm trying to talk about a little better, I think, than just.
And if anybody in the chat has any questions, throw them up. I'll star them, and then we can hit them.
Yeah, because like I said, I've been thinking about this for 20 years. It's really rare when someone like gives me like, "Hey, what if it did this?" And I'm like, "Oh, don't worry." I'm either like I'm not doing that, or yeah, we're gonna get there. It's rare that someone gives me an innovative idea that I haven't thought of, but it is great. Like I love it when people like will spend the time to think about what I'm presenting and be like, well, this shouldn't work because of this. Yeah. Like when I show the product structure, I always get people trying to like find a toy that makes an exception, because that's like the bane of software development. You come up with all these rules and plans, and there's exceptions. I mean, like. But,
and I know, and one of the things you mentioned prior was just how, you know, people could take photographs, upload them, and maybe your photograph could be the one that's picked for that particular item, and then there could be incentives and stuff like that, and shoot, just to show off that, hey, that's my picture is an incentive itself.
Yeah, if people use this the way that I want them to, or I imagine they would, then yeah, there could be some digital clout involved. And people that think they're a pretty good photographer might be like, well, I want to like, this is a rare piece, and I want to take a picture of this and kind of let it be seen. Well, if it makes it on the top of, it'll be on the product page for Collecticon, but if it's like the main image, it might be there forever.
Right.
Like if you have a really nice photo of a blue Bacchus, you know, like sealed in box, like not a lot of people are going to be, you know, competing with being the, you know, nice the best photo there. Yeah, like that one, just by rule of averages, you're probably going to be the number one photo. And like every photo should be attributed to the uploader. And I'm hoping when you go to the user profile, you can like be like, hey, this is how many contributions this person has done. They have like a ranking or something. Just so there's an incentive to do it. And there should be some sort of like monetary incentive. Like maybe if you, I feel like every interaction that someone does on the site will result in some sort of like point system, and those can be redeemed for like, hey, you get 10 free marketplace upload or marketplace listings this year or this month or something like that, so you don't have to pay a fee. You know, like that's like how we repay you for the time and effort involved. Right. And that's, the marketplace is a whole nother thing, but I hope it's not gonna launch. I don't think it's going to launch with that, because that's very difficult. Okay, I'll throw this in here. And what this will illustrate, what I was going to show first was like, it's kind of the product data structure. Mm-hmm. And you'll have to tell me if you think this makes sense or if I'm missing something. This is why I always show this first, because I want someone to be like, that's not right. It needs this, or this doesn't work for that. This won't work for this particular toy. But you know, you can and tell me what you think. Okay, so here's a lot of stuff. We're gonna go into this. This is the Bible, right? So, and if you watch the Forge, we went through this. I'm gonna try to give you something different, so it's not a rehash. But like, this is how I envision. It's probably works across all action figure toys. It may not, but at least for Transformers, this sort of fits the bill to me. Like, something is a product, and when something's a product, this is how. When Hasbro sells you a toy, they sell it to you like this. This is what's on the shelf. This has a UPC. This has a product code. This actually has a date stamp, and it tells you what factory it's from. It's all in the box if you know where to look. So that being said, that's not over time. That's not always how the community then interacts with these items. They take them out of the box. They lose the parts. Yep. They save the box sometimes. They have the paperwork. Each one of those components of a product is its own thing and could be sold, right, or collected or purchased, individually. You look on eBay and you can sometimes I've seen people buy the styrofoam, like the inserts kind of relate to the G1 styrofoams. I never in my life thought people would buy those. Obviously, I was wrong. I didn't have the foresight for that. Some of the styros are worth, I don't know, a few $100s if they're nice.
Now, if people start asking for the twisty ties and the little plastic ties,
then
where did our collected braid go, right?
That's maybe a level too much. I have no intention to. That's sure. That's part of the packaging. Maybe there's like a note of like how many twisty ties there are, but like I'm not going to spend my time trying to like make that a reality. And like the other thing is, I saw some guy grade or like put in plexiglass every component of a particular toy, including that like little white like safety sheet that they've been putting in for the past like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? It has like every language.
Yeah. That's what I was about to ask, if that's included with the paperwork.
I mean, no. That's one thing that's so non-specific to the Transformer. Like, that is like a Hasbro. Hey, I could be, some people like the Autobot tissue paper too. That's a current thing. Yeah. So whatever. There's a possibility for everything. I would just say that is not a V1 thing, if not a V8 thing, but we'll see. But so, getting back to this, like, this is the way we're trying. I'm going to finalize this probably this week. But this is what I've been going off of for quite a few years at this point, is that accessories will belong to figures that belong to a product. The paperwork belongs to a product. And then there's packaging, which sometimes has inserts, which specifically that's like kind of for the styros and stuff. But we have these cardboard inserts now that fit that same category. And this combination of accessories, paperwork, packaging, and insert is what makes a unique product. And if any one of these things changes, like if let's say there's a Chinese, a Mandarin version of this paperwork, that is now a new product. That's not a variant. That's a new product. And that's the Chinese release of this toy. Same thing in like Japan.
It wasn't there like Siege or maybe War for Cybertron? Some of them where the packaging looked exactly the same, but there was a sticker on the back that had the whatever language they were being sold for.
Yeah, that's a pretty, unfortunately, that's the way Japan went during the brand unity years. Mm-hmm. But that is a specific release. I mean, they have a different numbering system than we do, and sometimes different names for this stuff, especially in Studio Series, like Dropkick 2. Did you know that Dropkick 2 is a thing?
No,
it's what they called the car version of Bumblebee Dropkick. It's hilarious. Like I just want to get one just because it's just on the box. It's like Dropkick number 2. Like it makes no sense. It's hilarious. But yeah, that's a whole new way they do it. So this is again, this is just sort of like obfuscating. I put the images in here just to like have it make more sense, to a Transformers fan that would be familiar with this toy, just to get them the idea. Mm-hmm. Everything within here creates a product. Here's another view of it, and this goes all the way to the franchise company toy line. These are just like the data points, that would be searchable on this stuff. So if, like, say you wanted everything from, you wanted to see, hey, return me every product within the Siege toy line, from the United States, and it will just, and it'll show you all the product images of that, and you can dig into each one individually, or you can be like, I want to see products from that toy line that had accessories, or that were Decepticons, or were Autobots, or just the deluxes, or were exclusive. You can just like filter out all the specific. Trying to be like rigid with the data structure, but which allows the users to kind of create their own experience that you can't really predict everything, and we'll find that out as people start using this. One other thing I want to bring up is like the concept of a piece or a part. That's not an accessory. Well, let's go back to G1. So G1 has a lot of these where there's like a piece or a part that's part of the toy, but it's not supposed to be. Like Swoop's beak is a notable piece of the Swoop toy, because it breaks all the time. So like if you're selling one or you're looking for one, you might want to qualify it as, oh, the beak is broken or the beak is not broken, because that can affect the value of that toy immensely.
Yep.
But it's not like an official
like pack-in accessory.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's so I might like open parts or pieces up to be kind of like the users. If a bunch of users like try to create the beak, like, okay, that's like, we're gonna add that as a kind of undocumented part of this, but it's not something you have to mark every time. I just kind of wanted to put that out there if anyone's thinking, about it. Like another one would be blue windshield wheel jack. Like that's a different release, but the thing that's notable is that one part is like the paint wasn't. Do you even know what I'm talking about? It's like the paint was too thin, so the clear plastic like looks blue.
Okay.
On the hood. This is pretty.
Will you be able to put like product notes too on like commonly broken pieces for that product or that character?
Yeah, like, okay, yeah, that's a great, that might be like an interim solution for this piece or part thing, is like there's just like product notes. The thing is that you don't want to have that stuff balloon up. You have to kind of have like, you got to moderate this to a bit, to a point. All right, so this isn't that exciting, I know, but like here again, let me find something that has some meat on the bone here. All right, here's an example of the reason I used Crash Bar as an example was because fictionally, there's only one Crash Bar. He had never existed before this legacy toy. And at this point that I did this, he had no redecos or repaints. So he was kind of like a one-off toy that was easy to work on the data without having to worry about all the product relationships that usually come with, like, if you use an A-list, like a Thundercracker, there's like 300 Thundercrackers, and there's different versions of the character and blah, blah, blah. So it gets really complicated. Plus he's the Seeker, so there's tons of redecos. So this is just an example of like, these are the kind of, like, this product page would have all these photos connected to it somehow. And then some. These are just all the official product shots plus the accessories that I took photos of. So this is a lot of there's a lot of meat on the bone here. There's a lot of images that would be for just this one toy. So you can get an idea of like how big and expansive this website would be at like full power. Not even including the user submitted photos. Because the idea is that if you want to like start documenting your collection on this website, you can say, you could just click crazy, and you could say, yeah, I own everything. Yeah, I'm the #1 toy collector ever. Well, that's great, buddy, but none of your collection is verified at this point.
Yeah.
Because you didn't spend the time to take a photo to verify that you have this, and then that photo will go into the pool of this product. Unless we may like make them allow privacy, don't add my photos to the public pool, but
Well, could you use it as a barometer to see how many of those toys are still out in the wild?
Kind of. You know, but you have to have a critical mass of people using it to get anything accurate. I mean, like, you know, I don't think you'll ever get a real idea of how many there are. But like things like, if you get the super collectors on here, things like lucky draws that have like 4 or 5 to, you know, a dozen samples, like you might be able to figure out where like half of them are. I mean, not where they are, but just that half of them are in the hands of you know, certain. It'd probably be somewhat anonymous, you know what I mean, like through usernames and stuff. But it would be there. That would be a cool thing to know. Here's just I found this online quite a few years ago, but this is like the example. One guy went through and just like took these molds and like found all the versions of it, and I just kind of, when I saw it, I was like, this is awesome. As a great like think piece for like, this is what I want you to be able to create screens like this on the fly with any toy. Obviously, this person did a good job of like making them all look uniform, you know, like the photos are uniform because he did it on, you know, in a vacuum. But this kind of visual aid is kind of what I want to be able to make without having to spend hours and hours and hours putting it all together. I kind of want the system to be able to do this for people.
I would have swore Siege Sideswipe had more molds than that, but
he might. We could find. I mean, that is one thing. The answer to that question is like people will be able to use this to reference that kind of stuff and figure it out easily. Like what Siege toy has the most redecos or has the most mold uses. And, you know, that one would probably be up there. Megatron, the tank, would be another one that would be up there. Here's just an example of like, I mentioned I used that crash bar because it didn't have a bunch of product relationships. Product relationships are the thing I am most excited to get nailed down and defined. And this is how I've defined them here. And this, you know, I think a lot of people will like see this and be like, no, you're wrong. But like, I reference the wiki a lot and I trust their thought process a lot. The people that really like work with that site a lot. And they have some of the most extensive like documentation on this stuff that's out there. Like just like conceptually, like what is a retool? What is a redeco? Like that kind of thing. And this is what I've come up with is that, you know, you have your original product and then has it been retooled? Well, then it's a new product. Has it been redecoed? Then that's a new product. Has it been repackaged? Meaning the package is the different thing, the different component that has been changed in the thing that makes up a product. That's a new product. Has it been rerun? Which is like the Nemesis, like we talked about earlier, the Legacy Breakdown, the Predaking. Those are those reruns? Or are those going to end up being repackages, redecos, or retools? We don't know.
Could those have different product numbers stamped on their thigh or wherever they stamp those?
There's almost always something different because so many years have gone by since they did it. You know, like things change. Even when they will. I think the intention for those is to make them as close and exactly the same as the previous one. They probably have the same product number and barcode.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a few years. Like they might have to put new safety regulation stuff on the box.
Right.
So that makes the box different, but the toy might be almost exactly the same. Anyways, when this stuff finally gets in the hands of collectors, then we find out, is there an unintended variance? Yes or no? Then it might as well just be the same product. You know, they reran it. You know, you document that it was rerun. The date stamp might be different on the box, which is that like product code that's usually stamped into it near the barcode. This is pretty nitty gritty stuff that most people don't care about, but the MISB guys, they get what I'm talking about.
Initial Goose is in the chat. He's been filling it up with questions and suggestions.
I'm sorry, I'm totally looking at this screen. I will come back to that when we get off of here because I would love to interact.
Yeah, I've been starring
them. So just here's an example. I showed this on the Forge as well, but like this is, you know, these are redecos. And the point I'm trying to make here with this stuff is that the term reissue really doesn't mean anything. It's so vague. Really, a reissue ends up being one of these four things.
Right.
And if you look at these Starscream reissues, you can definitely see what I mean. Like, none of these are the same toy. The missiles on this toy are completely different. The deco on this one's complete. At the time, it was unique to the world. This Encore one has differences as well. Actually, this is the Encore one down here. Sorry. And then when the last reissues, the last reissues of Starscream we had were wildly different than anyone that's come before. It came with the Megatron gun, and it has the huge ass missiles that suck. And then they did the anime version of that same, nerfed US version. And so, to me, as a character collector, each one of those has a significant enough change. And we're not just talking about the box. The toy has a significant enough change to identify it as a new product. And I'm hoping that the fandom at large, like a lot of people, like they're allowed to do this. They're allowed to just decide what matters to them, like, oh, it's just a reissue. I have a Starscream, it doesn't matter. Well, I'm like, well, this toy is completely different than the one you have. And I've talked to Anna about this many times. She was always like, I only need one Ultra Magnus. I'm like, oh, they're all so different. Why would you do that? So I'm kind of hoping, like, subversively, I open people's minds to like why collecting beyond just the newest thing that's out there, like why people collect old stuff. Why do people keep things in the box? Because like mint and sealed box collectors get the shame stick all the time, like from the fandom at large. And
I might be guilty of that.
I've had enough of that. I'm here to fight back.
I might have shamed some people about being in box collectors on a previous show.
Nah, I mean, hey, it's all good fun. No one should take stuff too seriously. This is like an example. This is many years ago example that I made just to kind of illustrate like all the data surrounding this product, like how it, could look.
Mm-hmm.
Like this and notice we have like price list of like all the available places to get it, like the online places to get it. That's something I'm really excited to like experiment with, because I just think it's hilarious how you could, and I sell stuff all the time on all these different marketplaces. You can sell the same thing for 8 different prices on 8 different places to 8 different people.
Yep.
It's just completely different. It's complete Wild West. As much as people say like, that's a $24.99 toy. I'm like, yeah, to you. Like, not to me, because I know how to sell it for a different price. Like using Walmart.com, for instance. Like, and so it would just be cool to present all the different prices at the different marketplaces. It's like a price checker, that would be hopefully pretty accurate. And then people can figure out if they, if it's a current modern toy, like they can see if Target's having a sale, maybe this week they're back down to $25.99 instead of $27.99 because they're doing a sale, and like this could potentially reflect that. And then
how up to date could those price comparisons be?
Probably not to the instant, because it requires like some like automations to go find it. Like that remains to be seen. That's like a highly technical question, but I believe it is definitely gonna be possible. I would say like probably on a once a day cycle. So, if it's a flash sale, it might get missed, like if it's on deep discount, it might sell out before like this reflects the price, and it's kind of worthless at that point.
It's almost if you're on like X or something like that, and you have somebody post that you get notifications on, it's going to be you can't keep up with that. You can't compete with that.
Yeah, because typically when a retailer takes like a certain product and like clearances it, they're especially in online, they're trying to get rid of it right now. Like they don't care. Like it's such a good price that they know it'll be gone in an hour, and like something like this couldn't keep up. But that's not. It'd be great if it's really close. If maybe it can up. But like if you have like 40,000 products and you're trying to check the price on them every 5 minutes, like from server, like the performance of the website it'll fail whale all the time. So there are going to be some sort of like logistical issues to get over. I mean, if like 10,000 people end up using the site, maybe we can figure out a way to make it instant. I don't know, but I don't know.
Will there be communication enabled into the site at all, like direct DMs, or no?
I kind of hope not to, because like there's other sites that are good at that. The communication portion, like I want to stay in my lane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to be bogged down with dealing with moderating people's discussions. Like, hey, this person's harassing me. Like, oh my God, like there's nothing I want to do less than that. You know, I just want to get the data out there and make it easy and fun to use. But what I think is fun might not be what everyone else thinks is fun. I couldn't tell you.
And I think you mentioned that when you put your username in there, you could put your other socials in there. So if you actually wanted to contact somebody, you could do it that way.
Yeah, you probably
data, like just like Initial Goose says, keep it all data. It's all data, you know.
Yeah, I want to keep it data, you know. But the ones I do have this weird concept of like if the marketplace gets up, like this is how deep I'm going with like the I don't want the communication. I think it'd be great if you didn't even know who you're buying from or who you're selling it to, other than the seller would have to know who to send it to, right?
Right.
There comes to that, because even you know people are like don't buy from that eBay user, you know. It's like I'm like, you know, unless if they were really an awful person, their account would be shut down. Maybe you had a bad experience with them once and like you're exaggerating the issue, you know, because you had a 1 in 100 bad sale for that seller, but like you think they're the devil. Like I just rather it said something like, hey, the person that's selling this item, they've done like 1,000 transactions and they have 4.9 rating. So, you know, buy it with confidence. That'd be I might get some pushback on that, and we're so far from getting the marketplace ready that, like, you know, this is purely conceptual. I just kind of want to do something that's not the same as like every place else too, and see if it worked. And we might find out that's a really bad idea, and you need to do stuff more like what eBay does. But
I want to say something that's really important about what you're doing here is that, you know, there are other places that you can get like partial databases where you try to get this information and whatever. But honestly, a lot of times the pictures are terrible, right? They're super limited when you want to actually find, you know, I want to identify this figure. I want to figure out what it is. I want to look at pictures to see what the condition of mine is, what it's missing. Does it have scratches? Does it have stickers that are missing? Whatever. And there's like 2 pictures and they're in terrible poses and you can't really see a lot of angles. You know, this type of service will allow you to have a lot of different angles from a lot of different users and a lot of different samples all at your fingertips to really see what you have and compare it. You know, you decide you have some sort of weirdo variant, instead of just looking at the 2 pictures that are on that website that many of us are thinking of, you can actually look at an exhaustive list, right? And I think this whole parts thing is the same thing. You know, it's so limited on what's out there. Having an exhaustive list of parts, including things that break off commonly or fall off commonly, is great. Like that is just a resource we haven't had.
Well, there's if you're, you know, when I say crusty, it's like a self-deprecating joke that I'm old and I've been in this too long. Okay, so like if you're a super crusty and you've been collecting G1 stuff, you know all the stuff that's broken, and it's easy to document. I mean, it's like there's like the tires crust off of like the Optimuses or the Bumblebees sometimes because they just get old and they dry out. You're like, all that stuff would be noted. But guess what? G1ers? The babies have an entire line of this stuff that you don't care about, but it's going to be just as important. Those Bayverse toys break like a motherfucker. They have all sorts of broken parts, and it is not easy to wrangle like it is the G1 stuff, because we've had an extra 20 years to like identify all those things. So I'm really excited for that, like the younger crowd, to be able to start like collectively identifying like the pain points of certain toys. And maybe they have, and I just don't know where that stuff is. Right. But like we all came up with the internet in 1996, like kind of together, and somehow all the Transformers fans were online first. It's amazing. Like we just had an aptitude for like, I want to figure out modems, beep, boop, beep, beep, and like that's why whatever Transformers came up with. I mean, one of the first thing I ever looked at on eBay was a Transformer, you know, and it just was like, oh, you know, it just blew my mind. So, and I know I'm not alone, and I think that's why we have such a rich and large amount of like community websites that are great, but they are a little outdated. And that's why I've been wanting to fill that gap for a long time. But even like TFW has a pretty good like historical data collection of products. I don't know if you guys have ever used that. Have you ever tried looking through the toy section?
No, not
it's
the products.
pretty good. It's just not like fun to look through. It's clunky, you know, and that's the important part. Is like with today's, you know, mobile app driven world we live in, if your stuff is hard to, if you have resistance to get someone the dopamine they want or whatever for what they're looking for, like they're gonna abandon you immediately. And so like I'm trying to steer the data towards that sort of user experience if possible. Like it's gonna be very photo rich and like not just a dump of info that's like in a table. You know, it's gonna you can get that if you want. Like some people are gonna want that, and for certain situations you're gonna just want the whole data dump, but that's not gonna be the like first presented like display of the information.
So like one of the things like when I do like reviews and stuff, depending on like I'll try to add an overlay of the G1 animation model of that figure. And sometimes it's a pain in the ass to find that stuff. Just Google image searching it. And it would be nice to have like a database like this to where it would be a lot easier to find. Just for that tool for my videos.
Yeah, well, that's a great thing to bring up, Talib, because that's something I actually worked on, like kind of specking out some of this today. Like we've been focusing mostly on the products, the physical toys, but what you got to remember is there's an entire like fictional lore that kind of wraps around or is above and below the toys. And so not only is the product of Crash Bar, you know, he's a character. Where does he exist? No one knows, because there is no like lore for Crash Bar, right? But let's just say he is definitely a junkie and let's say he's from the G1 universe. Okay, so there is now going to be a fictional side of this that connects the character of Crash Bar to that toy. And so when I mentioned like, oh, I want to put my IDW shelf together. Well, there's no IDW toy line. You can't be like, oh yeah, the Transformers Wreckers. There was no toy line for that. But there's like toy lines that have the kind of the menagerie of like other universes, you know, that like maybe there's a whirl in Thrilling 30 that people say is the IDW whirl. Well, you could say that is the character that represents is the IDW whirl. And he's part of the Lost Light crew, which is a subgroup. And so you could hit that Lost Light, the fictional side of the Lost Light universe, or it's the IDW universe, but like that story, and it could like tell you could be like, I want to see all the toys that relate to the characters for this, and it could spit them all out in like a nice, right, and give you some options too. But it requires something. Everything I've shown you is purely like a product data structure, but there would be an entire other a connected data structure for that information, and like what issues was this character appearing in, you know. For instance, the comic book, what's one of the toys that came out recently, the comic book Grimlock, the leader,
yeah,
like that references specific, it is a crown, right? There's a specific issue of the Marvel run where that exists from. So it'd be great to be able to like, you know, pinpoint that, like it's actually this issue that this toy is from.
And this isn't exclusive to just like Hasbro and Takara Transformer products, right? Didn't you mention that you want to add third party and KO stuff in this as well?
Yeah, for sure. And prototypes, you know, if they're out there, because to me, I hate that stuff, but like, hey, it's part of the game, and it needs to be documented. Like, you're doing a disservice by not including it.
That's the thing. There is no database. There is no record of third-party Transformers, right? It's just, they're just there. Like, if you really want a record of what has come out over the years, you end up digging through sell sites that don't delete their sold out listings so that you can try to find out what was. You know, you want to identify which individual KFC cassette this is. You're going to be digging around for a while looking at the blue and orange one because you don't know what it turns into unless they turn it around and you can tell it's a scorpion. You know, it's madness to try to figure out any sort of record keeping of third party. So if you start this, and those of us who are into third party figures really start putting all that information in, we'll finally have a list of these darn things that don't just play around with, you know, this being named Blue Petey or whatever, you name it, right? They'll actually link it to the character that it's supposed to be and the name that they gave it and put that all together so that you actually have record of this. Because third party is a part of Transformers that's been around for over 15 years at this point as important things, and you know, kind of from the beginning, if you want to count stuff like this, right? Like,
oh yeah, that kind of stuff is definitely going in there.
Battles and the rest of them. Yeah,
I just made the manufacturer listing for 4-star the other day, and I got so excited. Like, I was like, I found a logo for 4-star. I'm like, oh my god, it's starting to happen.
So I'm excited about that aspect of it, just getting the weird stuff in there so that there is record that it exists, and so that people don't look at me quite as crazy when I start trying to describe, well, there's a green flesh KO Godzilla Grimlock out there from quite a while ago, and I don't have its tail. I'd like to find it, you know, and people are just like, you're talking about something that doesn't exist, and it's like, no, I know it exists.
So is that the one with the tongue? Is that what you have?
No, he doesn't have a ton. He has
the brown
right
one
here. He's wearing a scarf.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, okay. I meant the Grimlock you showed though, the prehistoric creature.
Oh yeah, this is the prehistory.
So I just want to. There's a feature I really am excited to make, and it's the nickname feature that I want to kind of like build consensus with. So like, I have a nickname for that toy, and I want to submit it as the unofficial nickname, and that's Gene Simmons Grimlock. Because of the tongue, which is so dumb, but like that, if there are certain toys that have nickname, like Bumble Jumper was a fan consensus nickname for a toy that has no name, and then officially it's now become Bumper, right? But like that nickname is still Bumble Jumper.
Well, it's like how many like
to exist?
How many adjectives did they throw on that Amazon Earthrise, Sleep Mode, Optimus Prime from another universe?
Alternate universe Optimus Prime.
Can we just call him Sleep Mode Prime? What do we need all these?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would call, like, I'm kind of not fighting. I'm just like debating with my developer on like all these things. So there's a nickname, and then there's like common name, because that thing's real name is it's alternate universe Optimus Prime. But like the common name might be Siege Sleep Convoy or Sleep Prime, you know. But then there might also be a nickname where it's like Dead Prime.
Right.
Like they all have to be unique, right? They have to make sense. Like what it is, it's to whittle down that it's not something else. It's very specifically this one thing. So you can't just call it Sleep Prime. It has to be like, I think it's Earthrise. It's Earthrise, right? It has to be like Earthrise Sleep Prime. Yeah, so you know what it. So there's nothing else you can call that that would mean that thing. You know, like it cuts through the fat, because right now I'm searching through the records, and let me tell you, when you search the word Optimus, you get like 20,000 goddamn records, and it's really hard to find the one you want until I have put these like specific identifiers in there, and you will all thank me later when it's done, because it is really painful. Like the word Transformers has no meaning to me anymore. It is like worthless because it returns all records. You can't search it.
Or you're
But
trying
these are great. I really appreciate the questions you guys are asking or the things you're bringing up because it reminds me of like this other hot button thing that relates to it. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Anna with the third party stuff and the KOs. I'm curious. Let's say it's all fleshed out. Every product is in there. We've all died and gone to heaven because it's never going to happen in reality. All right, but they're all in there. Are there more third party figures than like official ones at this point? You know, like that's a question no one really knows because it takes a long time to like come up with the answer, right? You got to compile all the information. Those kind of questions will be uncovered.
Can you imagine the number of KO variants for the KOs of the G1 combiners?
Oh man.
The number of variants are those. There's so many different sizes. There's so many different simplifications and non-simplifications and complexifications that were done on those back in the day. So many incorrect colors, bizarre stickers, ones that were sold at Big Lots, one that were sold at Dollar General, ones that came in Easter baskets.
Isn't Five Below getting them again?
Yeah.
They might be. There's a soda
cool
store here at the Mall of America, a store that sells sodas that has a basket of them on the floor.
Wow.
Just a basket, and it's a soda store. They sell soda and pickles, I think, but also a basket full of KO G1 combiners. Why they've even got some odd ones in there that you don't see very often. Pretty cool.
I'm into it.
And all that information being in your database is really cool to me. Like even though I do like weird stuff and KOs and stuff, like actually having record of that this stuff happened and that it wasn't just all in our heads is really a cool thing.
Well, it really is going to take a motivated individual or a few of them that, like, I think what you just described sounds awesome, but I don't have the KOs to really like I don't have the ammo to like load the gun, but someone out there does. Like there's a guy on Instagram, I think it's TF like KO Lector, like collector, but with a K, who has some of the most incredible Transformer KOs amassed that I've ever seen. And like, I want that person involved so bad. I have not reached out to, this is an invitation to anyone to like sign up for the beta. But when I get to the point where like I'm confident, like we have something and you need to be part of this, like I'm going to talk to that guy,
For sure.
But here's the question. Not everybody's going to be like, yeah, I want to do it. Because he's like, well, I got my Instagram page. This is where I post my stuff here.
Right.
I hope I can like have a legit conversation with someone like that and be like, listen, you've already like, what about all the stuff you've already posted? Like, why don't you just put it somewhere else? Like keep the new stuff for your Instagram. And then once you've got it up there for a month, like, spread the data to a place where it can live forever. That, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be some sort of negative outcome from creating this. Like, making a third party database, there might be a negative outcome from that. I could think of a few that I don't want to just like bring up right now. But I think the third party company might be like, why don't you not do that? Please.
Yeah, but
I was surprised when a couple like Magic Square started having a database of all their figures on their website, and I was really surprised because it had gone so long with the various third-party companies not doing that for reasons that we're sharing in our heads right now that we think might happen. So yeah, it's a very possible outcome, but gosh, just having the record is so valuable that I hope none of those negative outcomes come.
I mean, the stuff I post daily that I'm getting from third-party developers, I don't think they're worried about it.
Probably not.
I mean, you go to the Chinese, you go to that Weibo, and I mean, the shit's littered on there now. That's it's based out of China, but at the same time, they're not being secretive about it. It's not like, I'm posting all this stuff and I'm not getting flagged for anything, so they're not coming after me or other sources because I'm not the only one doing this.
But they're mostly doing it. I mean, like Weibo is a social media channel, like
it's an app on my phone.
Everything goes. Something gets posted, it has a life, and then it's dead. It falls off. So it's all time based. I mean, I know a little bit about that from my previous business. You you can live and die by that 24-hour period, because that's really all that a piece of eye candy lives for on the internet. That's our attention span collectively. So,
well, and to kind of answer your question, I'm kind of thinking with as much news and product we see on a daily, weekly basis, if it's catching up with official product.
Yeah. I just thought about that for the first time just during this interview. Like, wow, the things you will be able to derive from the data visualizations that I hope are able to be created here. I can't really predict it. Like there will be all sorts of things that I hope I see people on social, instead of seeing some guy ask, or next time someone's like, hey, who's got all the studio? What are all the Studio Series 86 toys? Someone can post the link with the filter on, like, to my website, and be like, bang, done. And that's the end of it. You know, none of this. That's a dream of mine. It's like that would mean that I was successful and that this thing was useful for a lot of different reasons to a lot of different people.
An amusing question that you can answer with it when it does happen is, in 2025, who produced more Transformers, Hasbro or Takara? No, it was actually Blockies.
Yep. Well, what do you count as a product from Blockies? Is it the case or is it the individual dude? Because they only sell them as the cases. So,
True enough.
actually, I do have a question for you guys, because the Blockies stuff has thrown me for a loop with my data structure. Because those are model kits, essentially, right? You know, they're closer to Legos than like Transformers, but they're still not quite Legos. Like, you know, my figure, paperwork, blah, 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 packaging. Like, what is the figure of a Blockie? Is it the chess piece? I mean, it has the number written on it.
Right.
So I'm almost like bound to say that's it, but it doesn't really fit the structure. I don't really know how to do it. And like Flames Toys model kit, like, doesn't at all. You know, the figure is the completed thing.
And the funny thing is, Classic Class is similar to the Galaxy Class, where it has that interior body, where the one that's the outlier is the straight up model kit Action Edition.
Yeah, so I guess I don't really know how to handle the atomic unit of a model kit in my data structure. Will I have to have an alternative one? Yeah, will I have to make an exception for the model kits? And I hope I don't.
There are databases for Lego. You might want to look at how they do it, just to see like how they handle, you know, parts lists and it being the individual unit, just to get some ideas. I know you want to keep it grounded in Transformers.
Well, I trust me, I know Bricklink pretty well, so I am familiar with it. Like, 'cause they're the best. They're like the model, you know, of this whole thing. Bricklink, Discogs, and if that's a music website, you know, anything, a collector-based thing where it has a kind of a price guide, you know, involved with it, is sort of what I'm trying to make for this. So were there some questions from the users?
Initial Goose had a bunch of questions. He might be hitting your DMs later.
Sure.
Here was one of the first ones. Why don't you reverse your data flow and start queries at the figure, then branch into specific components, then itemize points of specific queries?
You say, are you saying you don't really like the product being the core element? You know, I mean, because that is a discussion I've been having with others involved with this. Is like the figure should be the main component, and I'm like, okay, well, the data structure can stay the same, but we could surface the figure as the thing you see most often. This isn't necessarily answering your question, but it's a little too technical for me to specifically answer.
A lot of his questions are very technical.
Well, clearly he's like a developer or you know, deals with software and data, which is great. Like, let me maybe this answers it. So like we talked about looking at Siege, right? And like I want to see all the Siege Deluxes, right? So it might show you all the products initially, but maybe you can just say, well, show me the figures. So all the same things are shown, but instead of the product image with the box, it shows you like the product photo with the actual toy instead of, you know, the product as it exists. So like you should be able to easily switch between those. Like if you want to search for figures, you don't have to see the product. You can just see the figures. But here's where it gets crazy. Like, let's take the 4-packs that show up at Target. The product is the 4-pack, right? It has the UPC. Sure, those figures, you could say they have the same UPC, et cetera, the same product code, et cetera. But I always use this example, like the one that has the Allspark in it. I think that's the one with like Nemesis Primal and like Black Arachne on the hubcap or something, or Bumblebee. The Allspark's in there too, but that accessory does not belong to any of the figures. It belongs to the product. All right. So if you're searching figures, you're not going to find that Allspark. You're going to find that under like accessories. It's not a. Does that make sense? Like all the guns belong to a certain figure in that pack, but the Allspark doesn't belong to any one of them, and it doesn't belong to all of them either. It belongs to the product that contains everything. So it's kind of like, it's a orphan. Oh no, I mean it's not an orphan, but it's a product. It's an accessory that transcends being attached to a figure, but is still within a product. Think of the Devastator 6-pack from G1 as well. Like there's a lot of stuff in there that. It's like what is actually in there? Is it the Devastator or is it the individual guys? Well, it's actually both. It's those individual figures, but they also all are pieces of the Devastator figure. So I don't think I answered your question, but I love that you feel free to reach out to me. Like, I'd love it. I'm looking for partners in crime that like really understand what I'm throwing down.
Well, he definitely is a fan, so.
Yeah, Initial Goose, that is 100% what I'm going for. Like you can interact with this. Hopefully, like we didn't talk about the customizer thing at all, but like that's something I think will be really unique about this, and will keep people coming back. If the customizers don't have a place to like share their work other than on their own social channels, but like I want them to be able to create customs using the same data structure, and then be able to create, I call them recipes, but like they can say like, oh, I used the head from this toy, I used the arm from this toy, I used, all these things. And so you could actually see like a little recipe of all the figures that it took to make their custom. And they can also say this, if there's something in the fictional database that it's supposed to represent, they can assign it to that, or they could make up their own. Like, this is Ice Storm, and I'm like, okay, well, you can create that, but it's not going to be part of like the the real canonical lore here, but it can exist. And then maybe be crazy if someone did that, and then some other customizers like, that's a cool character, and they make their own, and so they can assign it to the character that person made. It could be really cool. It could be really a nothing burger, but I want to make that a possibility for the customizers, because I feel like they kind of get the shaft. There's nothing like, there's no custom of the day gallery that people can go to every day and like show off their work. And I want to provide that. The collector.
He's already dubbed it its own.
Sure. Brand it all. Brand it all.
Zaldron has a question.
Oh yeah. Like, so if like that recipe thing, so let's say you go to the page for one of the toys that is made from that, there near the, probably like, under the fold near the bottom from all the official stuff, it'd be like, hey, customs made from this toy. Or if you're on the character page, like customs representing this character, like it's IDW Physitron, or Iron Fist, whatever you want to call them. Like there's like not many toys of that. There's probably gonna be more customs than actual assigned figures, although we just got one, in from Amazon, and there's that really nice third-party one that has been like the one to have for a long time. And also, speaking of the preferences, like if you're not into third parties and customs, you can just like, you can cut that stuff out. You can take it out of your filters in your base like preferences. I mean, you can't do that right now, but like that's something that those are the kind of things I hope to be able to do. You also got to be kind of careful with customization that you don't make it like so complicated no one uses it, And so like if you check this, you can't check that, and blah blah blah. You need to have like some real baseline level options for people. So And you would hopefully set that all up in like a user start guide that was done pretty well. But
now, is there a long-term goal to maybe put other brands or other toy lines on something like this, or their own?
Yeah, if it works, like if it really works the way I want it to work, if I can crack the Transformers nut, then like, you know, what else do you do? Like the Transformers brand will keep going. So like, you know, users will continue to be, I want to be the first one to add the toys they released on Transformer Tuesday. Like, you know, it'll continue to grow, but it'll kind of be like you pushed it down the hill. It's going. So the only way to expand, if that's what happens next, is to add another layer on the franchise thing. And to me, the first one is obviously G.I. Joe, you know, because it's intrinsically tied to.
Well, have you heard of that drama that happened with that one database that whoever originally owned it lost the ownership of it, and now it's just kind of collecting.
Dude, when that happened, I was like, oh my god, I should buy that. But I wasn't. But I had nothing. You know, I would have just been sitting on it and maybe never used it. So I was like, I guess I gotta just let it go. But like that, to me, is that someone has to use that data.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't even know. I never used it. It was yojo.com, right?
Yeah. So my toy guy, Rob Ross, he does a shitload of stuff on Facebook and whatnot. He tried to buy it and they wouldn't sell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was up for sale, like for real. So
yeah,
I don't know. Well, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but like that's super valuable data, you know, to me. Yeah. The other thing is like, how hard would it be to take their unique data schema for G.I. Joe and apply it to mine? And is it even possible?
Right.
I don't know, but I do know enough G.I. Joe experts that I feel like I could be like, hey, I'm going to expand to G.I. Joe, and do you want to help? Do you want to be like the godfather of this? Because I don't. Once I do the Transformers thing, like that's all I care about. I don't care about the other stuff. Like maybe if I did an Evangelion like one, you know, but every brand's a little different though. And so you gotta, like, I'm gearing this towards Transformers. It doesn't mean it will work for everything else. But if people use this and they build their collections, the first thing they're going to start asking for, the ones that aren't just purely Transformers, and be like, when are you going to add Star Wars? When are you going to add Mass? When are you going to add Robotech or something? And I'll be like, never. Because, I mean, it's going to have to be it's going to have to be an overwhelming success to expand beyond that.
Right.
And I want to get there, but like, I'm not promising that at all.
Let's get the Transformers done first, and then we'll worry about the other stuff, right?
Let's get like a few toys up there first,
right?
Okay? Like all the Transformers, holy God, I don't know.
That's what I like. It's driven by the users, the fans, and then moderated to a point as well. But
yeah, and I don't, you know, it's mostly just like I'm in the driver's seat right now. And I don't have anyone else in the car, really. So the moderation, I know it's super important. It's going to be super important. But, like, do I have a rock-solid plan? No, because this is agile development. You have to kind of – there's just – you can't write – you can write the table of contents, but you don't have the book written yet.
Yeah.
If that is a good analogy. I don't know. But like I said, I've been thinking about it for so long that I kind of have an answer for I think almost every question. It's very rare that someone like really throws me for a loop, but that's what I like, because that means someone found a hole in my logic and my concept. And so, yeah, anyone that wants to push back, please come pushing. Oh yeah. And so I feel like we're winding down. I don't know. I mean, I'll talk about this all night, but like, yeah, ultimately, if this is interesting to you, please check out thecollecticon.com, and there's an email sign up at the bottom, and it couldn't be any simpler. There's no like strings attached to that. It's just, it means you're interested and you have the potential to be contacted, like probably directly by me, you know, to invite you later. I think I know who user Alpha is though, and I think she's on this show. So
I'll definitely put that back in the chat. But yeah, I was going to say we are going to wind down here. Okay. I wouldn't mind revisiting, further down the road when you have
Sure.
it like another good update and to kind of go over where you're at in the next part of the development, because I don't know, I find this interesting, and like I said, just how it's users for help generating this. You can have your own pictures submitted, and you could use it as clout, and I think that's kind of fun too. It's almost like an internal game, like you can't do better pictures than me, stuff like stuff like
Yeah,
that.
there might be some. I mean, I'm not trying to encourage like competition, like
But
there's some. Well, I know it's inherent in collecting, but like when I see like other collection tracking services out there, like have a scoreboard, I'm kind of like, I don't care who has the most fucking toys. Like,
what is it? Reddit has karma or something like that. Something to keep.
well, that's a little different. I mean, like, I guess I'm just saying, like, the person that has that says I have everything and I can prove it. Like, I don't care. Like, doesn't sound like a collector I want to be friends with. Honestly,
Right.
It sounds like someone that I want to avoid, and I don't want to encourage that behavior. But like specifically a scoreboard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
This guy has, but that guy has more than me. He's collected more than me. Like, you have better stuff. Show the good stuff. It doesn't matter if you have everything. Like quality over quantity, in my opinion. And that's not something you can really quantify, in a scoreboard sense. So there's no intention to do that for me. I like the healthy discourse more so.
So, and like you mentioned, it's just collecting names. It's put them on a spreadsheet, but no emails going out that you've registered, right? You won't
get no feedback. You'll just get a thing that says, thanks for signing up, like on the page. You won't like, don't be like, oh my God, I'm not on there because I didn't get a confirmation email. It's because I just didn't even bother setting that stuff up. It's literally just a list. And the response has been quite good. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like overwhelming, but it's like, it's healthy. It's like kind of where I want it to be, because I wasn't even planning to go on these shows and talk about this because
so we dragged you in.
Well, but I like talking with you guys and I appreciate it. So it was a good opportunity. And I'd love to revisit this when there's something to show. So it's not like I was just talking a bunch of hot air, because that would be a real bummer.
Yeah, we'll have an update someday.
Someday. Hey, I've been updating I got a focus group Discord and no one responds. I've been updating them frequently. So we need to move on to something else.
I want to make the grand battle, and I think Taylor and I should work on this so that there's always more third-party figures in the database than first-party. I think we should make it a race.
Ooh.
Feels like
Fill it with third-party crap.
Ooh. That'd be cool. Like, see a pie chart of like third-party stuff.
Yeah, can we keep it going up? Because I mean, Caleb, you got a lot of third-party figures to put in. I got a lot of third-party figures to put in.
Just my Instagram feed alone.
I just think it all started with the Classics Cliff Jumper upgrade kit, and here we are today. My words.
I'll get my Target roids in there.
Ooh, I love those.
Nobody cares about Target roids. At least you care about them.
I got the shattered glass ones.
What do you think of the KO Target roids? Those were really bad.
I mean, that's pretty meta, So, like, where does that land? Is that in the third party section, or is that the KO section? What is the second? Blockies would be an example of a second party toy. It's a licensed product.
And then there's fourth party, which are KOs of official product. That's right. I know there's a fourth party tab on Show Z.
It's like KO. It's supposed to be. I thought it was supposed to be KOs of like KOs,
maybe,
or KOs of third party stuff. I don't know what the definition is. It's all garbage to me. So whatever.
I know what the first thing I want to enter on in your database is. This is my moth baby carriage. First time being seen on the Decepticast, everyone. The moth baby carriage. I think it's the first time I've shown it off.
I've seen it before, though.
I think by definition, there's got to be more KO and third-party stuff than official.
I've shown
'Cause
this
there's
on
no
TFLP
rules.
so many times. But this might
Yeah,
be
that
the
maybe
first
that's where I've seen it.
Decepticast.
I could have swore you shown it on Decepticast.
I've never seen that. That is
Or maybe it was Discord one night. You took pictures of it and shared it.
You've never seen my baby carriage. Crazy. It's one of my favorite things. It's so stupid.
nothing. No, I know what the first thing you're going to put in there is. It's going to be Calculation King.
It's true. I do have to make sure to put in all the variants in Calculation King. There are multiple packaging variants and color variants, and
That'll be a complex one because it's a combiner. So there's a certain way you're going to have to do combiners to make it right.
that is true. I've kept the paperwork so I can figure out what their names are.
So that's
You
really
might be hacking the site to put it up on there now.
that's going to mean the fact that you have the paperwork. Do you still have the box? Can we document all that stuff? Because that would be super cool.
I think I still have the box. I'll have to make sure that it survived all these moves, but I think I did.
See, you're going to be the greatest.
I'll have some information to put in there.
One other thing I wanted to mention before we wind down, Toyomics brought this up earlier. I think he's left, but he mentioned that he went onto your Whatnot channel during that show that you did where you were selling off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really here to promote. And you guys do such a great job of,
Well, so that's usually at the end we promote our stuff. So that was kind of like a segue.
Great. Yeah, I've been doing Whatnot recently, probably for the past 5 months. I've been having a lot of fun doing it. Like I love it. It's really fun. Some shows just like end early because I wasn't feeling it, and that happened last week. But I do them every Thursday. So the one that guy was referencing, I sold a friend's collection. He was kind of down on his luck, and sold his toys for him, and he was very happy with the outcome. And it was a good, fun 4 hours. So yeah, we'll be doing it this Thursday. It's at Collecticon on Whatnot, and I just try to have as much fun as I can. And if I'm not having much fun, I might quit early. So, but we sell mostly sealed product. However, this is the thing I should probably talk about. For Cyber Monday, I'm going to do a 24-hour stream. Or I'm going to attempt a 24-hour stream. And I have an 800-piece collection of all eras loose that I'm going to be selling for that 24 hours. So
how much cocaine do you got back in that room to keep?
I don't do cocaine. So it's just going to be pure adrenaline, baby. And Red Bull.
Do you have assistants that'll be slapping you around to wake you up when you?
I have a few people. I have a friend. I have some people that have like kind of committed to coming and like spending a little bit of time with me to keep me awake. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, that's part of the fun is like, can he do it?
Right.
Will he crash and burn? And yeah, I'll have to put on the Be Right Back screen when I go to the bathroom and stuff. But like, I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum. I'm going to Iron Man it. And we'll see. And that, you know what that means? Not only is 24 hours of being on live, that means the next 24 hours, I got to pack all the stuff up and ship it.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be rough.
I know. I think it's December 5th. We're planning on doing like a 24-hour thing with Kaiju Daddy, where we're doing like our giveaway party, and then that's leading into the 24-hour stream, and then all donations are going to Toys for Tots.
I remember I was on the live, the open mic night. I heard you guys talking about that, and I was like, oh, that'll be exciting. Yep. Like we're all in for a fun start to December.
Yep.
You're wild.
Anna, do you have anything you would like to promote?
No, I'm good. Got an Instagram. You can see it.
I put it in the chat.
My Instagram matches my earrings. So go see.
Yep, go check out Anna's Instagram. We're slowly trying to get her to post stuff.
I don't think I'm following.
So much effort, man. Yeah, follow me. You'll see me post every year.
Yep. Well, so you can catch me on my channel at Talib1980_collects. I do 2 reviews a week, Transformer Tuesdays and Action Figure Fridays. At 1 a.m., news and review, a recap of all the news goes up on my YouTube channel. That's typically at like 1 a.m. every Tuesday. I just usually do it after this because a lot of it is regurgitation of some of the Transformers stuff and then other action figure brands that I kind of follow. And then Saturday nights, I used to go live on Sundays, but now we've kind of been going Saturday Night Live or whatever. Saturday Night Lives. It's me, Stu, Lou, Abby, and Creative Primitive. And the last 2 weeks, we've just been bullshitting about movies. I might have drank too much last week. A little bit of memory loss, possibly. But that was fun. So that's something we might be carrying on forward. Hopefully, the guys will stick with me on that. That's might have. Yeah, I know, Abby. I should have just stuck with the one drink. The second one took me over the limit. But 100 proof rum, got to stay away from it. Yeah, drinking it straight too. I was mixing my rum with my rum.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I wasn't very productive Sunday morning. But also I'm on all the other social medias. I'm on TikTok, X, Instagram. I'm on Facebook page. I'm like 25 followers on Facebook to where I can go live on Facebook. So if you could look me up, it's all Talib1980_collects. A lot of it's all the same in all the different sites, but there's different people on every site. I think that's all I have of me on my own channel, but I'm also part of Figure Fight Club. This is what you're watching right now. Monday nights at 10:15 p.m. every Monday. Join me and Anna for Decepticast. Next week we have another guest. Patriot Prime Reviews will be our guest next week, so it'll be an interesting conversation to have with him. He was one of the first guys that I watched when I started getting into this whole Transformers YouTube, paying attention to what's going on. So it'll be an interesting conversation. So come join us next week. And if you guys have any questions that you'd like us to ask them, either show up or you can DM me on Instagram or whatever, and we'll get a question sheet going. And then next up is Tuesday nights. It's open mic night. Anybody can hop on. The link for the StreamYard will be in the chat. I know there's 2 other people that are in here that we've tried to get them to come on to open mic night, but they're busy sometimes, so they haven't made it on. So it's just a time to BS with fellow collectors, show and tell. And yeah, anybody can hop on. Just don't be a Richard, as Abby would say. And then Friday night we have is our interview show or VIP show. I can't remember who we have this week. Abby, do you have a video prepared yet? If you do, run it.
Figure Fight Club, come, we welcome you. Figure Fight Club, come, we welcome you. Figure Fight Club, come, we welcome you.
Oh, a special start time, 8 p.m. So be there, folks. But one last thing, I'd like to thank my co-host Anna, and I'd like to thank Paul from Collecticon Toys, the Collecticon. That's all I got. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace.
Thank you.
As we wrap up tonight's fun, the figures and talk, so we've just begun. Join us next time for thrills anew. In the world of Figure Fight Club, it's all for you. Make sure to subscribe and smash that like button. See you next week on Figure Fight Club, stay strutting. This isn't goodbye, it's just a see you later. In the meantime, go check out another creator. So keep your figures on display until we gather here someday. Remember the tales and the laughs we shared. Here at Figure Fight Club, you're treasured and cared.